this pattern, there is a color A and a color B. Color A is the lighter color. This is the Snowbank, and color B is the green. It's the Toad color in the City Tweed DK. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by creating a magic ring or magic loop, magic circle. It's called several different things. And I'm going to single crochet 8 into this magic ring. Now, if you want a slower video on how to do a magic ring, I do have that linked in the pattern as well as it's on my blog. Now that I have 8 single crochets inside this ring, I'm going to pull it almost all the way closed, but still give myself some space until after this next round. We are not going to be joining on this. We're going to be working it continuously. So you'll want to just start in the very first stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets into this very first stitch in the round. And you'll want to mark the very first stitch so you don't lose track of your rounds. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And now I'm going to continue to single crochet, do 2 single crochets into each stitch around. Now at the end of this round, you will increase from 8 stitches to 16 stitches. Now at the end of round 2, that's when I'm okay closing this ring. It's just much easier to work that round 2 with that ring still a little bit open. And now I'm going to do round 3, which round 3 will simply be single crocheting into each stitch around. And be sure to mark that first stitch of the round so you know when you are finished with the round. Now for round 4, we are going to single crochet, do 2 single crochets into the first stitch. Be sure to place the first stitch of the round with your marker. And now we are going to single crochet into the next. And that will be our repeat for round 4. So we will do 2 single crochets into the next stitch and then single crochet in the next. This will increase by 8 again. So at the end of this round, you will have a total of 24 stitches. Now for round 5, we are going to be doing a repeat of round 3, where we will simply single crochet into each stitch around. For round 6, we're going to start by doing 2 single crochets into the first stitch, marking that first stitch of the round. And then we are going to do a single crochet in each of the next 2. So the repeat for round 6 is to do 2 single crochets in the next and then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Repeat that around, increasing by 8. So at the end of round 6, you will have 32 stitches. And for round 7, go ahead and do a round, repeating round 3, where we single crochet in each stitch around and come back for round 8. Now for round 8, we will do 2 single crochets into the first stitch. And then mark our first stitch of the round. And then we are going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And that will be our repeat around. And at the end of round 8, we will have a total of 40 stitches. And then for round 9, it will be the same as round 3, where we single crochet in each stitch around. Now for round 10, we will do 2 single crochets into the first stitch and mark it like we've been marking the beginning of every round. And then we are going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And that will be our repeat around. And at the end of round 10, you will have 48 stitches. And for round 11, simply single crochet in each stitch around. Now that we are finished with round 11 and we have finished the part of the toe, we are ready to work the rest of this next section in the split single crochet. So we're done working single crochets for now, and continuing on, all the stitches will be done in a split single crochet. We will also be working from our chart. So really quick, I want to talk about the ways that you can work this pattern. I do have written instructions. If you prefer, you can follow the written instructions. I also have something kind of newer to my patterns, which is color blocks, and it shows a block with a number on that block, and that block is a certain color, and you can work however many stitches based on the number of that block. Or I also, of course, have a stitch chart. Now I want to go over the stitch chart and how to use it. This is one repeat. So every single round will have 3 repeats to make it all the way around all of the stitches in the round. It will always be worked from bottom to top and from right to left. So every single time you start the round or your repeat, you will work from right to left. So starting from the right side of the chart, working to that left side of the chart. And this is just the first portion of the chart, and it will split for the heel, and I will show you how to do that when we get there. So to work the split single crochets, we will simply insert our hook into the center V of the stitch. We will always want to continue to use our stitch marker because we are working in the round, not joining. So for our very first stitch, we're going to go to the next stitch we would work, and instead of working it like normal, we're going to insert our hook between this front V. We'll stick our hook right in the center of that, and when it comes out on the back, it will also be going through the upside down V on the back. Then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and this is the most critical part of a split single crochet. It's this loop right here. You want this loop to have enough space that is easy to work into for the next round. So you want to pull it up all the way to the height of the first loop on the hook before you yarn over and pull through the loop. Then we're going to go ahead and mark this stitch. Now the first 7 stitches, I believe, in our round are worked as split single crochets in the color white. So I'm going to quickly work those 7 stitches. And now we're ready for a color change, but before I finish this stitch, I want to go ahead and I want to grab my new color. You don't want to finish this stitch until you yarn over and put that new color through. What this does is it sets us up to work the next stitch with our new color. So I'm going to yarn over and finish this stitch in the first color, and now the second color is ready, and we're going to work 3 stitches all in the split single crochet. And now I'm ready after this third stitch to go back to, some of these are going to be a bit tight on this first round because I didn't loosen my tension on the previous round, but it should get easier as you pull up this loop. Now I'm ready to go back to my other color, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops in order to switch back. And then I will work a long stretch of stitches before I do any more green. So here's another concept we need to know. For this stocking, because the drape can be stiffer, if it was a garment, I would absolutely be carrying the yarn on the back of the work. But since it's not a garment, I do suggest working around the unused color. So this entire pattern, you really should, whenever you're not using a color, you're going to carry it along with you and you're going to work around it. That way you don't have any long strands that could mess with your tension. And then when you're ready to pick up this second color, it's ready for you as you've worked over it. So every single time we do a repeat, which I think I just finished our first repeat. Yep. So this is our first repeat. We did 7 stitches in white, 3 stitches in our green, and then we did 6 stitches in white again. I would go ahead and repeat that 2 more times around for a total of 3 times for each round for that chart pattern or written instructions or even the color blocks. And then for round 2, I'm just simply going to continue working in the split single crochets, and you'll see that it starts to look like knit stitches. So go ahead and work from the chart and then come on back after you've worked that first section of the foot, and then come on back when we are ready to split for the heel.